Okay, we're now live. All right, hi guys, and welcome to our regular Tuesday show with myself, Nick, and Zahir. Firstly, say hi, Zahir. How are you doing?
Hi everybody, yeah, doing fine. Just enjoying the lovely weather. So
Yeah, I was
pretty
saying before,
pleased.
it's so bright in your house. And Zahir. Firstly, say hi, Zahir. How are you doing? That's not me.
Everybody, yeah,
Sorry,
doing
it's
fine.
me.
Just enjoying the lovely weather. Oh, there we go.
Hi guys,
There we go.
and welcome to our.
Right.
There we go.
And you may have just noticed we have Caroline with us.
Yeah, Caroline's forgetting to mute the. Yeah, sorry.
It's like a
Hello.
standard thing now when you're on a chat.
It's standard
Do you know what?
chat.
I tell you what, my favourite thing about Kaz and Soup's chat. I love how you impromptu just cut the stream. I mean, it's so funny because it happens every time. You just cut the stream mid sentence. I don't know if you mean to do it or not, but
Oh no!
oh, okay. But it's epic anyway. No,
I better watch the end of it then to make sure. I've never seen it. I never watch it myself, obviously.
oh no, I thought.
If you watch on the TV, it cuts the last few seconds off. I don't know if you mean that.
Oh, maybe it's that. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we always watch on the telly, like using like the Chromecast, and like when the stream ends, it just ends. Like, so I've never actually watched it on the computer. I might have to go and watch it on the computer to see whether there's an ending. I just thought it was always hilarious.
We always say bye, but I don't know.
Yeah, but just yeah, I know you do, but it happens. Like anyway, we'll work on that later.
You made me paranoid now. I'm gonna have to go watch.
So
Love watching myself on YouTube.
Okay, let me have a quick look in the chat. There's lots of people saying hi, so I will pop in there. First in today is £400 and down, and then we've got Chelsea, hi, Treasure Pirate, Dr. Doodle Doo, Jason N. Twistle's in there, Slim Picking, Southwest Sellers, T.S. Davis, Exit to Red. He says first, but you weren't first. Many people were before you. What's that say? Bloody Chinese software found its way onto my laptop, just working out how to remove. Okay. Been going on dodgy websites, no doubt. So yeah, lots and lots of people saying hello. We have a guest today, kind of last minute thing. Thank you so much for stepping in, Caroline. But we don't really have a plan, do we, for this? We're just gonna see what comes up as usual. So how have you been? It's been quite a while since you've been on. Oh no, you were on for the show, weren't you?
Price is Right.
Price is Right. Yes, that was the last time.
But we're not talking about that because I didn't win.
no.
True. Oh, we've got one coming up on Tex's channel, haven't we?
Yes, looking forward to that. Yeah. Someone's just written in the chat, why am I so dark? I don't look dark to me, but I apologise if I am.
You know what, Caroline, you don't need to worry. Richard Payne has just said that I watch on Chromecast Tuesday and ends early to just cuts off. So it's not something at your end. Your videos are fine. I think it's a Chromecast problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very glad to hear that.
Yeah, well, I thought it was just ending because I was like, why are people ending their streams like that? Don't they? I thought it was the thing that people were doing that I wasn't aware of. I was gonna jump on the bandwagon and start.
Yeah, we watch most of our YouTube on TV now, and it takes off the last like 10 seconds for some weird reason.
Yeah,
quite annoying. I just saw Swamp Pickers in there from over in the States. Hi, mate. So if you do have any questions or any themes you want us to touch on, please pop them in there because we don't know what we're going to talk about at the moment. I was going to say to Caroline about, you probably said it in your videos, I know, but you are now in profit in your massive haul overall. So how did that feel getting to that point?
Oh, it was so nice. Before I went on holiday, I was really, really close to reaching that £6,000 that I initially put into it, and I really hated having to turn my listings off to go on holiday. Not hated it, but it felt like I really wanted to get there and I didn't quite make it. And then last week I finally got there to the 6,000, and it was such a nice feeling to know that sort of vindicated my decision to spend so much money in the first place, really.
Yeah, it's great because it mentally changes your attitude to the haul, doesn't it? Because you're kind of chasing yourself and chasing that money, and then you break even, like I did with that van load of all sorts of gear. When the point where you break even, you suddenly look around and realize you've got thousands of pounds worth of stock left, and it's like, wow, whatever I sell this for, it's all gravy now. And it's like, it changes your attitude to it. Yeah, attitude to it. No end.
Yeah, funnily enough, I went in and looked at it all hanging on the rails at the weekend, and I thought, that is all profit now, every single item, every time. Yeah, so that's such a nice feeling, you know, when you've been chasing for so long to get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I roughly worked out that we broke even a couple of months back on that massive haul, it was just like, yes, that was a good buy.
Yeah, good feeling, definitely. I don't know how long it's going to take to sell it all. Probably a couple of years, I should think, by the time it all goes through. But
yeah, but it doesn't really matter now in a way. It's just space is the only issue now, I guess.
Yeah, I've cut down the space a lot because I've got rid of a lot of the dross. So a lot of it has gone, a lot of it is reorganised. So in fact, I've made enough space now that my husband is able to make beer again out the back in the conservatory, which is what he was doing before I filled it up with clothes. So he's been boiling up his hops and that all weekend.
Oh, wow. That sounds cool.
They're all talking in the chat about the weather. It's a beautiful sunny evening, but because the sun's up there and I had to sit here, it was reflecting onto the laptop, so I've pulled the blind down. That's why it looks like I'm in the dark, but it is a beautiful sunny evening.
Oh, I'm just going to read. Slim Picking says, my top 3 resellers, Nick, Z and Caroline. Oh, well, there you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is a sweet comment. Thank you.
We were saying, Z, before we went live, that our sales have been really sort of up and down on eBay.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it's something to do with this listing stuff that you talk about. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't really like that stuff. So I think that's maybe why it's been a bit sporadic. Yeah, my sales have literally vanished. I mean, I actually took an Insta photo up and put it on my Instagram page. You know that, Nick, Instagram?
Still haven't figured out what that is.
But yeah, I put a photo because, you know, like, it's always nice when you're sharing when you're doing well and getting lots of sales in. And I thought I'd just post up a little screenshot because it's quite cool, because I had a day where I think we had like 400 and something pounds of sales. And then the very next day I had a big fat 0. So I took a photo of that bar of like the, you know, just to show that's how extreme things can be. And since then it's just been dead. Like, I think, I mean, I had like a little bump yesterday, and but it's been pretty dead. But like you guys say, it's probably down to this listing stuff. I've got to do a bit of that listing.
Yeah, our numbers would be terrible if it wasn't for, we were just saying to Caroline about the haul stuff, those multi listings and those, you know, listings with 100 of whatever sat on there. That ticking along is what's saving us, really, and bailing us out all the time, because we're not having any trouble sourcing, as you may have seen recently, but it's just getting organized to list. That's why I'm keeping half an eye out for the big deals these days, because they're so much easier.
I definitely think that I mean, you guys have shown with the hauls that you're talking about as well. It's just, you know, when you go in for something, you know, a bit more than usual, I think that does tend to pay off that much more. It's kind of like the whole greater risk reward, and, you know, obviously you've got to have the capital up front, but I think it can, like you said, it can save you. I mean, I've got a few items like that as well now in my store, where I'm pretty relaxed because I know I've got some items which are pretty in demand, getting a lot of attention, and it's only a matter of time. I mean, I can't see it taking more than a month to sell these things. It's more just the fact that I'm asking near the top end. But
plus, you have some amazing gear, and some of your sales have been epic. So, you know, one sale for you could cover an entire day's worth of sales.
It's okay as long as it's okay as long as they stay sold as well, though. That's the thing, you know. Again, it's that risk thing, isn't it? Like, yeah, you can do that, but you are taking a big risk, because whereas you might sell 10 items and make that amount, you've spread your risk 10 ways, where, you know, what are the chances that 10 people are going to suddenly decide to return an item, or God forbid should it get lost or damaged, whatnot. Whereas you know, it's very much an eggs in one basket approach I've got, but it's down more to my laziness that I like that approach. So I just take the risk, you know.
I know what you mean though. It's horrible, isn't it, when you get a return for a really big ticket item like that. I know Scavenger Life always say they never actually consider things sold when they're sold. It's when they know the customer's happy and they've received it and they're okay with it and they don't want to return it. Yeah.
Definitely. So I mean, they've sold some immense. Yeah, I think once I remember them talking about that, Caroline, actually, where they sold like a bit of designer fabric for like over $2,000. It was something insane, and they were so worried about it. They were talking about how they were so extra careful about getting the insurance, and then once they got it, you know, they, like you said, they don't consider it sold until, you know, time has passed, and I think that's pretty a wise thing to do.
Yeah, it makes sense. I've been watching the chat actually, and there's a couple of people mentioning Ben Fitzpatrick. Funnily enough, I chatted to Ben the day he put a post up on Facebook saying he was going to withdraw from YouTube, and invited him on here, but he couldn't do this week. So Caroline has kindly stepped in to have a chat with us, but hopefully we've got Ben on next week, so you'll be able to ask him those questions. But as far as I know, he is absolutely fine. He just has a lot on his plate, so he's stepping back because, I mean, these guys will agree with me. YouTube is a bit of a time drain, to say the least. And Ben puts a lot of effort into his videos. They're so much slicker than ours. Well, mine and Z's anyway. They're a lot of production, a lot of editing, and it takes a lot of time and effort. So I think you'll be able to ask him next week, assuming he can still do Tuesday next week. But I think it's just time.
Definitely. I mean, Caroline touched on that actually when he mentioned it in the group about, you know, appreciating the amount of effort that goes into it. I mean, there's probably more production value in the first 30 seconds of one of Ben's videos than there is on all of my videos put together.
On my entire channel.
It's because personally, like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it does take a lot of time, and I just, you know, I'd rather be doing other things with my day. So you know, it might not be productive things, mine. I'm not saying it's productive, but I'd rather be doing other things. So for me, it's so much easier to, for example, just do like the live chats or you know, like I love doing these live streams. I think they're brilliant. Or when I do edit, it's literally a case of stitch and upload. Because anything more takes more.
George follows on saying,
I love editing, but it's sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right, carry on.
Yeah, I love editing, but it's just the time it takes. I would love to do so much more fancy schmancy bits and pieces with the editing, but I just, in reality, when it comes down to it, you know, if I can manage to piece it together and upload it, that's winning as far as I'm concerned these days.
Yeah,
especially when you've got that stock. Yeah.
And I was saying to Zahir the other night, I've worked out how to do fancy little wipes and fades, and I was like, wow, it's like the Holy Grail. But that's about as technical as I'm getting. Although Andrea's been messing around with iMovie on her Mac, and she edited a vlog that went up today for tomorrow. So that she's getting there with like adding music and doing slow-mo and stuff. That's a bit beyond me at the moment. I was going to read George's question following on from the comment about Ben. It says, with the recent departure of Ben from YouTube, I mean, he may be coming back. He's not said he's quitting for good. He says, I was wondering what your 3 feelings were on going forwards making videos. I'm not considering stopping. I am trying to limit the amount of time I put into it, but the thing is I really enjoy it, and it's a big part of my social life, so I get as much out as I put in, really. What about you guys?
Go on, Tat.
Yeah, I'm not planning on stopping. It was always my hobby, really. It was yeah, it was very much my hobby as opposed to anything else, because I was doing stuff before. I was making videos before I was making reselling videos, and I still see it as an extension of a hobby. But like Nick says, it's very social, isn't it? For us, we talk about making videos, we talk to each other on video. It's almost like a networky social thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I agree with everything you said there. To be honest, it is the social aspect of it is great. I mean, we get to chat to everyone on Friday, especially in the chat. We love that. It's epic. If anything, we'd like to do more. I mean, I've always made YouTube as well. I've been making YouTube videos on my other channel as well for years before the reselling and stuff. But it's just, you know, to be fair, I shouldn't be making any videos. I should just be concentrating on doing my work. So that's why I think I just squeeze it in somehow, and unfortunately that means the production values may be lacking, but we're trying. I might get a mic. I might get a microphone, like for the chats. I was planning on getting one of those.
I've sent mine back.
Have you? Yours must have been naff.
You know, the one I had, and it was just crackling and doing all sorts. So
it should sound epic. Those mics meant to sound good. I mean, I'll get one and I'll let you know what I think of it, or
Yeah, but I'm with you. It's like the amount of time. Sometimes I'll make a video and then put it together, and it looks pretty crap to average, or the sound's a bit whatever, and I just think I'm going to put it up because I don't have the time to redo it. I don't have the time or brain space to redo a video. So it's just like, it's kind of what you see is what you get with me. But people seem to enjoy it, so I carry on.
Yeah, it doesn't actually matter if people enjoy watching you and the content that you put out is of interest. I think people will watch it despite what you feel is a tech issue.
Just answer a quick question. Exit to Ed says, Nick, what are those things stacked up to your right? Oh, that's left. Oh, they're cassettes. I was just about to list these before I set up the chat. I decided I think I'm going to do a bundle for 50 quid. I've seen a seller selling pairs for £6. So I thought 50 quid all in. It cost me £1.50, so happy days. Right,
someone asked my YouTube name. It's Caroline Mrs. M. Thank you for asking.
Yep. If you're watching this after it's live, if you're watching this on my channel, I will remember to put a link into Z and Caroline's channel so you can go across.
Richard Hale's got a question about video games. Do you sell them on GSP? Just not sure if I should list them GSP. As of the different region codes, this could cause problems with people not reading the listing. You don't need to worry about that because video games aren't included on the global shipping program. So when you list a video game, I think the only exception that I know of is when Nick listed a bunch in the job lot category.
Yes. Yeah. Well, when I start listing, you can see some of the Atari stuff here. I'm still plowing through that, and I need to do a couple more videos, and then I'll start plowing on. I'm going to do my own international postage. With video games, it's really important to have international on because it's such a huge international market. So I'm going to have a set rate international tracked amount on all of my video game listings. For consoles and stuff, it'll be a lot more. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go international on a lot of that.
I had a really annoying GSP thing. Shall I just share that with you? Had a lady contact me from America saying she couldn't buy a pair of shoes. And she was just getting an error, and she sent me a screenshot of the error on her phone. It was just unknown error coming up. So I made a separate listing of them for her, because this has happened a few times to me. I think Zahir has happened to you as well, hasn't it, in the past? And yeah, this is probably the 4th or 5th time it's happened. And I made a separate listing for her, completely started from scratch. That still wouldn't work. So then I'm listed it on a friend's account, and it still wouldn't work. She still couldn't buy it. So she phoned eBay, because we assumed it was a problem her end at that point, and they said it was a problem my end. So I phoned eBay. I got through to Dublin on Saturday, I think it was, and I spoke to a really nice, really helpful guy who went into her account and put it into the basket, and he said, oh yes, I can see exactly what the problem is. I'm going to send her a step-by-step what she needs to do. She needed, I can't remember what it was. It was some sort of technical thing. He said, but I'm going to email it to her right now. I'll send her an eBay message. So I got off the phone. So thank you very much. Very happy about that. And but sent the woman a message and said that eBay are going to get in touch with you. Apparently it's a problem your end, and they're going to give you a step-by-step of what you need to do. And she never heard from them 3 days later. So in the end, because it was a 40 quid sale that I was going to miss out on, I did them international tracked and signed separately. And luckily it came up similar price to GSP. It was only about £1 more. So
yeah, that is very frustrating. I mean,
eBay are just not helping us.
I think it happened in the States as well, actually. I think the time I remember it happening was I had this little kind of python skin like purse, little, for coins. I don't like saying coin purse anymore, but because I can't say coin purse without giggling. Like it's Family Guy's fault. But so it was a purse, like a lady's little with a clip, and it was a really nice vintage purse. And there was this lady in the States, and she really wanted it. I mean, she messaged me. She was like, I really want it. I can't buy it. She tried so many times, and I got all kinds of excuses from eBay. Like it might be because I've put python skin in and it might not be allowable in that country, and I checked and that's not the case with the States. I mean, I removed any mention of python and this, that, like yourself. And in the end, it was just when I relisted it without global shipping program and just did my own shipping, it just went through. So I've got a feeling, yeah, definitely like yourself. I think it's a possible issue with certain countries or maybe even certain parts of certain countries, which cause because conversely, I'm sure you've had sales to America which have gone through fine GSP.
Oh yeah, I have one that same way. Yeah, but I've had it in different countries. I've had a couple in Germany. I've had New Zealand. I've had America. It's
I
weird.
had last week to Norway. A guy wanted to buy 2 of those aluminium bottles, and he just kept messaging me saying, "Why won't you ship to Norway?" And I said, "I do. It's all on GSP. Go to checkout, and you should see the amount they'll charge you." And I said to him, "I don't set that amount, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "No, it refuses to ship to my country." So in the end, he just gave up and went elsewhere, which was frustrating. I didn't even have the chance to say, "Well, I'll ship it to you," blah, blah, blah. He just said, "Oh, I've bought them elsewhere."
Yeah, I mean, there are times it makes me think about just doing my own shipping, full stop. I mean, I do it often enough as it is. And it does make you question it because then you start reading the forums, and I know you shouldn't, and then you start seeing people saying, "Oh, I'll never buy from anyone that has GSP," and then you think, "Yeah, I don't buy that," because people do, they do buy from sellers who offer GSP.
I do like GSP though. It's so nice and easy, isn't it? And you sort of not abdicate all responsibility, but it's nice knowing that as soon as it's got to that place in Derbyshire, that's it.
You can, yeah. I mean, but the other side is, what if something? Again, it's the what ifs, isn't it? But if something does happen, then the return process isn't very clear. Say if a customer decides they don't want it, or it's not as described, more to the point. Not if they don't want it. If it's not as described in their opinion, then when they send it back, how is that handled? I mean,
but that's going to be the same, even if you're not using GSP, isn't it? You get that. You're still going to have to get it back.
But in those cases, then it doesn't help in that respect. So it's more from the security aspect, isn't it? Like the fact that if it gets lost or broken, you can blame GSP.
Yeah, it's nice because I can do it with Hermes and I don't have to go to the post office. Else. That's
I've just noticed Joe is in the chat and he's got a question for Caroline there. How did you find listing the VHS stock compared to normal boot sale charity shop finds? Was it any different? Or did it feel any different, he said?
It was quicker because it was multiple items. As soon as I got my head around doing multi-listings, which could be quite complicated. You do multi-listings, Nick, don't you?
Oh, isn't it? They don't make that easy. It's like some Krypton factor thing, isn't it, to work it out?
Yeah.
Like what? It's horrible.
Yeah, especially if you've got something like bras, for example, that have 2 different sizes. They've got the cup size and the band size, and all the
different colours as well, or something. It's like what, how, where, and then adding the different photos in for each different bit. And people have asked me to do a video on how to do it, but I'm not going to. It's just it's a headache.
I did say at one point I was going to do a video on it, but it was just too complicated. I tried. I watched it back. I was like, no, that just doesn't even make sense to me, and I sort of vaguely know how to do it.
Exactly.
But yeah,
not just me, thank God.
From the point of view of actually listing it, I found it quicker. It was the sorting and organisation of the big multiple quantities into different sizes that took the time. Whereas singular, obviously boot sale and charity shop finds, you're listing every single individual item, aren't you?
Yeah. I've got a question for me. Nick, did you get anywhere with the non-branded posting supplies? No, that was my eBay shop voucher I spent on some Jiffy bags, eBay branded, and I complained that they sent me plain white ones that I could get way cheaper anywhere, and they haven't sorted anything yet.
Have
So,
they not? That's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, not impressed.
Quite funny because mine arrived the same day as yours, and they were all have their eBay logos on.
Yeah, I'm determined to get something out of it, because I think they're acting on eBay's behalf, and eBay are the ones that whip us all into shape and say we can't put a foot wrong, you know, and give us listing bans and whatever if we say Velcro in a listing. So, and they're sending us, or their supplier is sending me stuff completely not as described. So we'll see. It's still going on. Right. Someone asks, what is Andrea's YouTube channel name? I don't know if they're thinking Caroline is Andrea. Andrea is my wife, and she shares this channel. But Caroline is, well, I'll put the link below to Caroline's channel. So Mrs. M, you go by, don't you?
I do, yes.
Yeah. All right. The chat just jumped, so I don't know if I've missed any questions. Let me just scroll
your
back.
chat moves fast, doesn't it?
Peter Wilkins got a question, Nick. Is it your goal to become a full-time YouTuber?
No.
Well, that's cleared that one up.
I struggle very hard to be a part-time YouTuber. I mean, assuming means like to earn my living from YouTube. I mean, I am a million miles from that. You know what I mean? And I'm still putting out 3 or 4 videos a week. I mean, yeah, I don't know what the sort of numbers you'd have to be at, but it would have to be in the hundreds of thousands of subs, I would imagine. And I'm on 12, just to put things in perspective. So, no, I enjoy it, and I earn a little bit from AdSense, as we all do, but it's not going to happen. It's a fraction of what I earn from selling all of this junk. So it's not going to replace it.
Plus, you'd never be able to give up buying, and your house would just get fuller and fuller.
Yeah.
Imagine you falling out from underneath a pile of stuff.
But in a way, though, I think I think if it ever happened, I'd be quite happy about it, to be honest. I mean, not that it's likely to, but if it did, it would be awesome, because I just think it is pretty awesome, because then you could just do loads of haul videos, you know, because if YouTube paid for your living expenses, you could just go out buying tat all the time and just do haul videos. You would never have to worry about selling them.
Like Caroline says, my house would just literally
but you'd have to worry about that. You could just you know, you could just use all that YouTube money, buy a bigger house, and then just keep on buying more tat, and just become the ultimate hoarder on, you know. I'd like to see that, if someone's a hoarder and has made a channel about their hoarding. There must be.
You guys remember the show? They did a show about hoarders.
Yeah.
And there was a guy called Mr. Trebus. Did you watch that?
I've watched those hoarding shows, and I've seen many of them. I saw one where you literally opened the door and he had to kind of climb.
Yeah.
He had that much headspace.
Was he an old guy? An old guy who?
Yes. He'd been left the house, and he used to be a bit of a playboy back in the day, and he was quite, you know, he had all these nice cars which had just been covered in just weeds and stuff. It was crazy. It was and his neighbors all hated him because he lived in quite a nice little village, which normally wins like Village of the Year or something. And that
was a different guy, actually.
Oh, was it? Was that different?
Show like a decade or so back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did watch that one as well, and he had a mountain of newspapers in his back garden. This guy you're talking about.
Crazy, yeah.
Tarpaulin. Yeah. See, going back to the YouTube thing, I think in reality, reselling is a tiny, tiny niche on YouTube, and I think as big as you could get in the reselling niche, it's never going to be something you could earn serious money off. No. If you want to be a big, successful YouTuber, you need to do a mainstream topic, in all seriousness, because this has a definite ceiling on how big it could get.
Definitely.
I'm not sure there's anybody our age, well, I say our age, I'm older than you guys, who's a full-time YouTuber. Is there anybody our age who does it?
Oh, there must be. There's a few guys who do like woodworking and how-to videos on DIY that are our sort of age and beyond. Whether they're full-time or not, but they've got hundreds of thousands of subs, so quite possibly.
I can't comment on that. I don't watch many woodworking videos.
No, I'm sure.
We know what you do in your spare time, Nick.
All right, let's have a look. Lots of people in here. Oh, Lonnie's in there. Hi, Lonnie. And Joe, my pack rat's in there. Chelsea. Laura, question. Good question, considering what Zahir and I were saying earlier. How much does everyone list on average, daily or weekly? Caroline, what would you?
I aim for 20 a day. Sometimes I do a bit more than that. Sometimes I do a bit less than that, but I'm pretty steady at 20 a day.
Yeah. When I'm organised and listing, that's my kind of baseline that I like to go for, is 20 a day. But when I really get into it, I tend to find it ends up being more like 40 or 50 one day, and then a whole day of prepping and sorting and cleaning, and then 40 maybe the next day. But averaged out, I'd like to be at 20 a day. It doesn't always happen. What about yourself, Sahir? Do you set targets, or do you have targets, or you just wing it?
I think I wing it. I think I tried to have targets, and I think I should have targets, but yeah, I think I just wing it. And even when I'm listing, it's nowhere near that volume. I just don't have that kind of. I suppose it comes down to what you're listing and selling as well. I mean, it can take me a lot longer to list fewer items, just because of the nature of some of the stuff that I'm selling. But yeah, I don't tend to have I suppose if I wanted one, I think I'd say something around 10, because that's probably more achievable. But I don't even do that a day. So
it does make an awful lot of difference.
Winging, yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, I can find a listing of somebody who's had the same cassettes, do a sell similar, change the quantities and the price to match mine, chuck in a really basic, simple photo of a bunch of cassettes, and it's a 5-minute job. Whereas if you're going to list a stereo, or you're going to list a, something that you need to talk about the detail, you need to talk about the specs, you need to take a load of really fancy pictures, it could take you an hour to do a decent listing of a stereo system, whereas that should take 5 minutes. And the difference is that stark, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Some things are going to take longer, and some things are going to take, just like the same with packaging. If I sell 5 skirts, it takes me 5 minutes to package them. If you sell 5, I don't know, if your electrical does, that would take more than 5 hours to package, wouldn't it?
It would do, yeah. I mean, I've had a few parcels going out recently, which have just been nightmares. The last of the big ones went today, and I was just really pleased. I was really pleased that it's just out of the house. I didn't even take it down to the shop because I thought I think it weighs like 25 kilos or something. It was ridiculous.
I was watching you package one on your vlog today.
Yeah, I think that was the one. Yeah, they finally took it today, and just because of the bank holiday, etc. But yeah, it takes a lot longer. So again, it's a mixture, because sometimes you think to yourself, "Oh God, is this really efficient? Is it really a great use of time? What should you do?" But there's so much more to it. I think the whole point with the reselling is that you do things that you enjoy in the end, isn't it? I mean, because sometimes, like, me and Beck have this conversation about, like, should we just sell on the main store? Should we sell on second store? What items should we sell? Should we just sell high value type things? But it's not. I personally wouldn't enjoy listing a bunch of clothes. She probably wouldn't enjoy listing some of the stuff that I like listing. So you have to also factor in what you like to do, because that's quite important.
Oh, absolutely. You've probably seen that we're trying to do hauls now where Andrea and I share our pickups from a car boot sale together, and she'll be showing stuff that I have no clue about and very little interest in. And likewise, when I'm showing, games or whatever, she'll just,
you can tell, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we had that when we were doing hauls before, and with the boot sale hauls and things, and even in the comments you can see people know, oh, this is Zahir's haul, or that's Rebecca's, because obviously she's going to go for certain things, like mostly clothes, and then me, I'll go for the other stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Bonafide Hustler's in. Hey mate, how you doing, Chris? Nice to see you popped in. Right, let's see what else we've got in here. Pete Allen's in there. Hey, Pete.
141 live viewers at the moment, which is fantastic.
He was talking about doing live streams, and he's got a question for us. What program are you 3 using to get your video capture for the live chat? This live chat is just through Google Hangouts. So it's the one that's built into YouTube. I don't use any other tech. I know Zahir, you use an extra program, don't you?
Not for well, if I was doing chats with other people, I just use Hangouts as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I only use that other program when it's just recording, us.
Yeah, so it's all within
Yeah.
YouTube.
It was horribly complicated, that program. Z tried to teach me to use it, and I was just like the biggest tech fail in the whole world.
No, I think you nearly got it. I think you did, but
That's very kind, but it's not true.
you did. You just decided not to use it. You were just like, that's actually not as good as I thought it was.
I just couldn't get my head around it. I think if I persisted at the time,
you would. Yeah.
There's a question there from Stacey. When starting up reselling full-time, do you need to open a business bank account, or can you just use a normal one? You can just use a normal one. They would like you to use a business bank account because they will charge you for it.
Yeah.
But I would use a regular one until they cotton on.
I've heard horror stories about that. Where if they find out that you're using a personal account, they get the hump or something, or they can shut your account down, or I don't know, or freeze it. But I just don't buy that because because I mean, I use my PayPal card, or my PayPal account is kind of like my business account because it's a business PayPal account. And if I'm putting money from that into my account, that's just for me to spend on cheese or whatever I want to spend it on. It's just,
I was going to say with an eBay, so let's say you're just selling on eBay, so all your money comes into PayPal, so that's your receiving account really. And then let's say once a month you move your money into your account, so that's like you paying your wage. So you're using a personal account as a personal account really. And you know what I mean? It's like PayPal acts as your business bank account really, because it receives, and if you buy a lot of stock online, you can use PayPal to buy it. So
exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. But yeah, don't take financial advice from me as usual.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't have a business account. I've just got a standard current account.
There you go.
That's separate from my own current account.
Yeah.
Highway bus says time to have a Luke. I don't know why, but
there's yeah, what was all that about? Having a Luke. Someone said you were Scottish.
Apparently, I didn't even realize this, but yeah, apparently I say this a lot. Rebecca said it to me. She said, yes, you do. You say it a lot, but she never pulled me up on it.
We both do that thing where when we're looking at the chat and it goes quiet, we go do 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 do.
Yeah, it's kind of.
There's nothing like making YouTube videos and figuring out what your own verbal tics are.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? You see it and you're like, oh my god, yeah.
I think the most annoying thing particularly in the early days when I started making videos and I was nervous and self-conscious, I would scratch. I look back at my early videos, it's like I've got fleas. I'm going like this. I still do it sometimes now if I'm, a bit nervous or unsettled, and I'll start rubbing and scratching. It's like, well, I watch it back and I'm like, what am I doing? It's weird. Talking about YouTube, there's someone in the chat called Liquid Gaming. I assume they might have a gaming account and they're doing well on YouTube. They're saying they're making $200 to $800 a month. So that's some good money. Right, let's see what else we've got. Oh, I've done that one. I can still hear the birds tweeting where you are, Caroline.
Very nice, isn't it? Bloody noisy buggers.
There's people talking about Royal Mail business accounts. There's a couple of videos on my channel that you can find that explain what I do and what I use. But I think they're phasing that out for new customers from what I've been told. Another YouTube one there. According to my YouTube analytics, this is Liquid Gaming again. I made £2,000 from 3 million views. There you go. That'll give people an idea.
Wow, 3 million views.
Yeah.
I think I'm quite a long way off that yet.
I'm still struggling to get 2 million views for 3 years' work on YouTube.
I think I've just about got 200,000.
Yeah. There you go. That might just put it in perspective for people. There we go.
Yeah, we're not. getting rich off YouTube. Someone just asked, Michelle's just asked a question, do we have plans to meet up this summer?
Hopefully, yes. We haven't got anything set in stone. We're far from it.
Andrew's trying to organise us.
God, yeah. Our organisational skills are,
it's kind of hard. Z's now up north. I'm southwest.
Yeah.
The opposite end of the south to me.
Something will happen, no doubt. I mean, Zahir and I have mentioned that Andrew and I would love to come up and see them at some point, even if that's separate to the main meetup. Yeah. Maybe we could incorporate that into the thing. But it's just, timing and logistics, and getting everyone together. It's not easy.
It's just it's a lot of people to get kind of in at the same time, really. So, but hopefully it will happen because it was a lot of fun. Of fun.
I just read that Joe, my pack rat, says 20 a week if I'm really focused, but I really get lost sometimes, frequently when I start researching items. So 20 a week. See, different people have different targets. I think Joe is actually part-time anyway. So right. Here's an interesting question from Exit to Red. Question: what is the most boring part of reselling for you guys?
Listing. I guess so. Yeah, it's the thing I struggle to do most.
Headset's gone, mate.
Garlic. Okay.
Gone crackly. Right. Would it be the same, Caroline, for you?
Packing. Hate it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know that. You know I hate it.
Yeah, I kind of forget because I've been doing this 15 years. I still enjoy packing.
Yeah. Funny enough, I was talking to Mike about this just before we came on here, and he said photographing is his worst, and ironing is my other worst bet. But I don't do so much of that now because I've got my ironing lady. So she irons all my stock for me before I list it, which is quite nice. But packing is my most hated thing.
Wow.
I don't mind packing, to be honest. I think it's I kind of enjoy it in a weird way.
It's a boy thing. Boys like packing. Rachel doesn't like packing either.
I find it satisfying because it's the end of the line. It means whatever I'm packing is going, and it's the culmination of finding it, listing it, and now it's going out the door, and I just find that so satisfying. Doing the big bulky stuff is a pain in the ass, but I just enjoy the kind of finality of it, chucking it all in a big mail sack and dropping it off. It's just like, yay, every time. Yeah, little things. I think I was saying earlier, it's the little things in life.
Exactly.
So what's your favourite bit then?
Sourcing.
Sourcing, isn't it?
The shopping part, yeah.
I really enjoy sourcing. I really enjoy that bit where you get it all home and you look through and you do a bit of research and you find out exactly what you've got. You find out a few fails and you find out, was that me or you guys?
Yeah, I think, not me.
Oh, that was me. I've sold, that's a random item. I've sold a spare battery cover for a Tomy Atomic pinball vintage pinball.
Someone must have needed one.
That is random.
That's about as niche as you can get on eBay. Okay, let's see what other questions we've got. Oh, Lisa says she's late again. It says notifications, I guess. And my pack rat's most boring part is driving for hours and not getting anything. Yeah, Joe drives around garage sales. So he had, like Tex does in some of her videos, and they have to go a long way. So you can imagine if you go right out of your way and come back with nothing. I mean, we've all done that with boot sales, I guess, but I rarely get nothing from a boot sale.
Yeah, it has to be a really bad day to get nothing. I don't remember ever getting nothing for a long, long, long time, years and years.
Have you ever gone and then got desperate to buy stuff and bought something crap because you've not found much? I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. I did that this week.
Did you? What did you get?
I bought that sewing machine for 110 quid.
Oh yeah.
I shouldn't have paid that much for it, really. it was kind of a desperation buy because I hadn't bought anything, and I thought, oh, this will make me some money, But no, it will a little bit, but not nearly enough for the outlay. It's
well, at least
it'll cover costs.
A little bit out of it, though.
Yeah, by a little bit, I reckon maybe like a kebab's worth.
That's fine. If that's
like a tenner, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah. experience and move on. It's all good.
Yeah. So.
Imagine you get a return on that when you sell it, though. Imagine.
Oh,
that.
exactly. Then that would be a right kick in the chocks, definitely. Yeah. I mean, but hopefully that won't happen.
I've just had 2 return requests to go with your ka-ching, Nick.
Oh no.
Yeah, 30 quid ones as well. 2 bridesmaid dresses.
I'll tell you what I've had a run of recently, which is so annoying, is these returns where, let me cover up addresses, where they've not been to pick it up. So they've had the card through their door. What is it with people? They either don't see the card, they don't know what the card means, or they can't be bothered to go to the sorting office. I've had 2 in 2 days. I had that one and this that had a clothing item in that I've taken out. And it's just so frustrating because then they say, oh yeah, I didn't realise, can you send it back? And you think, oh yeah, another £2.80 or whatever it's going to be. You know, because you then lose that again.
Yeah.
Annoying.
I turned off click and collect because of that. It was driving me nuts. People would buy with click and collect and then just never go to Argos or Sainsbury's or whatever to pick it up. And I had within a month's period, I had 4 or 5 back, and I thought I've just had enough of it, so I switched it off completely.
Yeah, I remember you saying that's a really high number. I've had one, I think, come back from Argos like that.
Yeah, I know Ali Tristan had the same and also turned it off prior to me. She got fed up with it as well.
Yeah, but it is annoying because you then just have to, and if it's a low value item and you then have to spend, because of their laziness or incompetence, you then have to spend another, let's say, 3 quid to send it out again. That could be all of your margin if it's a really crappy low value item.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so annoying. Okay, let's see what else we've got in here. Oh, no, I did it.
Lisa Fenn says, here, is Beck not going to keep the sewing machine? She was considering it, but then she said, well, she wasn't actually looking for one right at that moment. So, you know, she got a Fitbit, you know, that's something. But to keep the Fitbit.
Here's a question you might be able to help with, Zahir, because I know you've sold a few 35mm cameras. What's an easy way to test them? Asks Joe Berman. Do you have a way? Do you actually test them for a start, or not?
I put a battery in them, and I make sure that they make the right kind of noises. So, you know, just if it's got a zoom in and out, press the buttons, make sure they do something, and that's it. Unless you're gonna put a film in and ruin a film, and even then you don't fully know unless you get it exposed, I guess.
Yeah, that's going to be buying it to buy a film,
it's not,
send it off, get it developed.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
And if you look at the kind of numbers of it all, I've not had any cameras returned to me as faulty ever. So I've sold quite a few.
Basic technology, most of them, aren't they? To be honest,
yeah,
it's the mechanics of the zoom, which you said you can test anyway.
Exactly. As long as the zoom is working, as long as the viewfinder is clear, as long as like the buttons are functioning. So, you know, as long as you can tell that they're bringing up a little icon on the screen or something, the chances are 99.9%, I guess, that it will be fine. So, you know,
there's a good tip there from David Morse. Apparently, Peter Kay has announced he's making a new series of Phoenix Nights. That looks like you, Caroline. So prices will shoot up again.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Lots and lots of pictures of DVDs again.
Yeah, there was a period in time when you were getting really peed off with seeing pictures of that everywhere.
I see one more bloody picture of Phoenix Nights.
Joe, what does Joe say there? I think listing is more about the amount of money in value you list rather than the number of listings. So 5 at £100 owns 30 at £10. Yeah, that's similar with the time invested as well. And generally, items that take you longer to list have more value, so it all kind of evens out. So yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
I tried doing that for a while, keeping track of the value of what I was listing, and it's really rewarding and it really helps to boost you on. You know what I mean? You might think, oh, I've only managed 5 this morning, but when you add it up, it's like £200. You're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? And then you add that up in your head, and it really helps. I
do that roughly at the end of the day of what I've listed in the day, just in my head, just glance at it and work it out. Think, oh, that's good. That's a good day's work.
Yeah, because it feels like, I know it's not money in the bank, but it feels like you've kind of paid that forward. So at some point in the next few months, hopefully, you're going to get that money. So yeah. Ads is in there. Hi, Ads. Yeah, he's saying about the click and collect that Caroline touched on. People buy with click and collect and then don't know what to do or how to collect. Actually, have you guys had this question? I've had it a couple of times recently where people, on the eBay listing, it says Argos free click and collect. So people have messaged me and say, if I use the Argos click and collect, the postage is free, yes? And I'm like, no, because I have to send it to Argos. But because it says free click and collect, people assume they don't have to pay the postage. Have you had that?
I've not had that.
No, it's just my dumb customers.
No, I've not had that. I've not had that. No, I've not actually had any issues with click and collect apart from once, I think, when I'm not sure, it just never arrived there or something. So I don't think I've had any other issues with it. That's all.
Right,
I was going to say, let's have a look again.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Right. As Lisa saying, she owns 3 sewing machines. 3 sewing machines? What on earth could you do with 3 sewing machines?
Crafter, I think, Lisa.
Wow.
And a big embroidery machine as well.
Yeah.
You don't want another one, do you, Lisa? Because C's got one that he's looking to get rid of.
Should be like, I don't want that crap. Treasure Pirate says, had a camera returned to me recently, said that it didn't accept film, but of course I couldn't test it. Now have a worthless camera on my hands. Well, in that case, though, what you could do is buy some cheap expired film off of eBay. Just test it for yourself, just to see, because what all you'd need to do in that case, if the buyer said that it's not taking the film, if you buy some film, it'll cost you like £2, £3 probably for a single roll. Put it in the camera, and if it does, if the motor whirs up, and you'll see that the exposure number appear on the screen, and if it does, then you know that it does work, and it was a user error on the buyer's behalf.
Yeah. Yorkshire Reseller, touching on that same subject, says, I always just dry test and state in the listing it's only been dry tested. And by that he means, so he's tested it without film. So basically what you were saying, test the mechanicals and that sort of stuff. I suppose you can test the flash as well without a film in, generally, maybe?
Yes, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can just flash away. And
oh, Ad says, I had that too, Nick. So I assume he means where people think click and collect is free, as in they don't have to pay you any shipping.
And someone's just said that they had someone a couple of months ago, CP Craft said, I had someone a couple of months ago message an hour after purchasing asking why it was not at the store. They obviously thought it was Argos.
Oh, yeah, like where you reserve at Argos.
Yeah.
People are mad, aren't they? It's like so everything on eBay is in their local Argos store that says click and collect. That's what must be going through their heads. People just don't. Oh, they just don't think logically, do they?
It's amazing how everything on eBay gets to be in all the Argos stores that it might be needed at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's getting dark in here. Let me turn on the light. Not that you really want to see this. What's that? Cbrom 100. Anyone had a difficult buyer? I'm mad. Well, if you sell on eBay, you've had a difficult buyer or two. You can't avoid them.
Let me just tell you, this lady who's just requested the 2 bridesmaid dresses be returned, she could be called a difficult buyer because I can't remember what it was, but she wanted to exchange one of them for a bigger size. So it cost me 2 lots of postage to send it out, not just one. And now I'm getting them all back.
oh gosh.
Yeah, I had a chat with a woman in the post office when I was up there dropping off my stuff the other day, because she had piles of ASOS boxes, and I said to her, is it shoes? Did you buy a whole load in different sizes and you're sending back the ones that don't fit? And she said, well, it wasn't me, it was my daughter for a wedding. She bought 3 of each for the bride, I think, all the bridesmaids and maid of honor, whatever, all of the shoes in a couple of different colors and 3 different sizes, kept 1 of each. And she said there was piles of these boxes of shoes all going back to ASOS. And that's what people do now. They buy multiple sizes and just send it back free.
Yeah, I was talking about this sort of thing on a video that I did a little while ago, and somebody commented on that, saying that a lot of retailers run at an expected 70% return rate. Clothing retailers, this is online, 70%.
That's huge. That's ridiculous.
Frightening, isn't it? And
That is, yeah.
I don't know if it's so much with the type of stuff you guys sell, but I've talked to Andrew a bit about this, and Rachel, and we both think, or we all think, that people are expecting to be able to return stuff more. So the mindset is shifting from the old days of eBay being a bit of a Wild West, buy it, see if I like it or not, and then I'll just keep it or give it to the charity shop. And now they're really expecting it to be like a proper online retailer, where even if they're buying from a personal seller, even, they expect to be able to return it if it doesn't fit, or they don't like it, or the color doesn't match their shoes or whatever.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I think Amazon's had a hand in that general perception of how retail works online. It's like the customer changes their mind, has a change of heart, whatever, they send it back. And the big retailers like ASOS and Next and all of that, they fall over themselves to offer free returns, and they all, it's become the norm. And yeah, I think they're expecting it from everywhere now, eBay included. And eBay is pushing that as well. So,
yeah.
Yeah, they are. How long returns do you offer, Nick? Do you do 14 days?
I believe it's on 14.
Yeah, I've just changed back to 14 from 30.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure we left it on that.
What do you do, Zay?
I'm on 30, but yeah, I think that this was all when I used to do like free post as well. I used to do everything to get the the top rated seller thing. So this was like before, and then I've become wiser and more experienced. Now I realize it doesn't matter. So but it's, yeah, I've still got that on as a hangover from it when I used to do like free shipping. But yeah, I mean, I might consider knocking it down to 14.
Yeah, I just got absolutely sick of people keeping things for 3 weeks and then deciding
they don't want it anymore.
Actually, I don't like it, because but you've sent the item out, they've had it 3 weeks, then it's like a bloody rental service, isn't it?
Yeah, agreed.
Joe Berman just says, just to expand on Nick's point, that he works in Clark's and someone returned nearly £500 worth of shoes to store before we closed because she didn't like them when she ordered them online. Yeah, I mean, it is literally that mindset, isn't it? Where people are just they're shopping with just like a try before you buy a service almost.
I do it myself. I'll order clothes online, and I'll order the same thing in a couple of sizes, and certainly not 3 different sizes. But I do that. Order stuff that I have no intention of keeping it all.
I suppose it's just a natural side effect, obviously, of buying clothes online, isn't it? So,
well, to get that, I mean, the customer is king, and to get that money, the online spend goes up like massively every year, and they're just fighting over each other to get that online money. And offering service is pretty much how they can distinguish from each other. So they're just, they're having to do it to compete.
Just a question, Kaz. Would you find that the returns are more concentrated on your new clothes versus your used clothes that you sell? Or do you think it's the same pretty much across the board?
I've had quite a lot with new clothes. Yeah, I would say more so with new clothes than with used.
As a percentage term, not obviously in like
difficult because obviously to say, but I would say people expect to be able to return the new stuff more readily.
Are they sending them back with tags then, or?
Yeah, they bloody are. Yes. I'm not accepting them back if they haven't got tags. Well, you have to, but yes, they try them on and they either don't like the fit or
In the chat, David Moore says, a guy left me feedback today moaning that a joystick I sold as untested spares and repairs, you can see where this is going, he said it didn't work.
Wow.
I've had that before. It's beyond frustrating.
Yeah.
Should be able to get people to move though if it's negative or neutral or whatever. Oh, just jumped. There's a question about haggling at car boot sale. Any tips? We've touched on this many times. I would say don't be afraid to do it, but just judge if you're going too far. You know, you don't want to upset people. So I love a good haggle, especially if it's, I think it depends how much you're spending as well. You know, if it's a 50p item, just buy it. No, don't haggle. But if you've got a load of stuff, or if you're talking setting up a big deal for £50 or beyond, then yeah, of course there's room to negotiate. Have you guys any tips you might be able to give to, I can't remember who said it now.
Not really, no, just like you say, be aware if you're annoying somebody that it's probably not the best idea to carry on. And some people just aren't up for it at all, and you just get a deadpan no. I just walk away then, you know, there's no point talking with people about it. But yeah, I always, it's very rare that I'll pay what they ask for at a car boot. Sometimes I will, you know, sometimes I will, but
I'm finding it's becoming less negotiable recently, or maybe like just I've found that the last couple of boot sales I've been to, the buyers are very firm on their prices, but then I found the prices to be fair as well. So I didn't actually I wasn't too bothered about, you know, I haggled for the sake of it, because I that's what I do. You know, you have to at least ask for something off. I mean, I even get to the stage where I'll be like, well, you know, 50p less, just so I feel like I've got a deal. And sometimes they do it. You know, they'll do it just for that, just for the cheek of it. You know, I'm like, just so I feel like I've done something. You know.
I just want to read this comment quick. Retrocable.com, talking about feedback and stuff. He said, I had a customer moan about a feature on a camera as if I had designed it. I told him to contact Samsung. Now, I remember when we were selling loads and loads of stuff on Amazon, and we'd get lots and lots of feedback back when we had the shop. And we were predominantly selling online through Amazon. And I remember getting feedback more in the early days of Amazon, really, or, you know, going back sort of 10, 15 years. And people would very often, let's say they buy a CD off me, they would give it a bad review, like, you know, track 3 was a bit poor, track 9 I didn't like, or whatever, and leave it negative feedback. But that's on me as a seller. It's like people didn't understand they were reviewing the CD, but giving me in my feedback section. Don't see it very often now, but so we had to ring up Amazon and get it taken off. People are so daft.
Yeah. I mean, I remember a lot of this happening when the was it that game, the Speak Out, was on Amazon, where you're meant to review you're meant to use the review system to review the game, as in is it fun or not? And people were just using the review section to vent,
to moan about the price.
Yeah, to moan about the price. that they willingly, you know, as far as I know, there was no one in their premises forcing them to buy the game that they know they can buy for 20, for 100, but they were buying it and then being mad that they were buying it. I mean, I think that's brilliant. I think that's just
yeah. There were loads of reviews saying, what an absolute rip-off. I spent £60 on a cardboard box with 4 gum shields in it.
Yeah. Why? Well, why did you? Why did you do that? Yeah. Have you asked yourself this question? You know, does it?
I remember years and years ago on eBay getting a negative feedback. It was WH Smith were giving out tokens for getting money off theme parks tickets. I think you got £10 off your theme park ticket, and if you spent 10 quid in WH Smith, they gave you one of these tokens. And I had some of them, and I sold them on eBay. And someone left me negative feedback saying, selling something that you got free at WH Smith. Why did you buy it then? You
just it's just you do have to wonder, like, the mindset of someone to get so mad at you for it, and it's just I don't know what can you say. I mean,
I'm gonna have to go in a minute because my laptop battery's dying. I've got 4%, so if I disappear, that's fine.
We need to wrap up anyway. It's just gone 7.
Yeah.
I just found a little scruffy dog, so I thought I'd bring him in.
Oh.
How are you? He's a bit grumpy because I haven't yet taken him out. He's not had a walk all day. Poor little dog.
Oh,
So yeah. Oh, there's Steve. Hi, Steve. Well, we shall wrap this up then. That was good. Thanks ever so much, Caroline, for stepping in. As I said earlier, there was a bit of chat about Ben Fitzpatrick, who has said he's going to step back from YouTube. He's hopefully going to come on and chat with us next week, so you can ask him questions about that. Then, assuming he can make it on the Tuesday. Until then, thank you so much, Caroline, for stepping in and having a chat with us.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. It was great.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Z, for co-hosting with us, and we'll see you all next week.
bye, guys.
Bye.
Cheers, guys. Take it easy.